wanted to sort of know the people there and stuff. Cool, there's at least 2 people out there. Great. Cool. I haven't done all this work for nothing. What I was going to say is it's quite good that Rachel mentioned the, joined about 2003, and sort of realised having doing these talks the last couple of weeks is that back then we used to do 10 issues a year of the magazine, and that was seemed, it was quite a lot of work. We do a few events and things like that. Now we do 12 issues of the magazine, we do 12 iPad editions a year, we do the website, we do iPhone, and we do case studies on the iPad, and we do millions and millions of events. And we're an international magazine, so I'm going to just talk about some of the different aspects that we work on, and hopefully you quite like them. So I'm going to kick off with this thing. So what that is, that was a cover for our territories issue that we did last year, and it was, we sort of covered a few, 8 of our 10 of our sort of favourite places. Sort of realising that different countries like to have their names on covers. So in Canada, you'd have Canada on the cover. They go, yeah, we're Canadian, we love it. Same in France, anywhere else, Netherlands, South Africa, UK, not really interested. Okay. So anyway, that was last year, and then we do these themes quite a lot. So it's a case of sort of reinventing the wheel a little bit and trying to move things forward. So this year we were doing an interiors special. Again, 8 different territories. We have done sort of Australasia before. We haven't done a New Zealand special yet, but I guess I'm sort of looking for tips and things how to do it. So this is all furniture from different countries. So this is the USA. A bit of Japan, and a bit of Spain. So, all these countries will have different covers, speaking to those sort of core viewers. So in Spain, you have a cover with Spain on it. In the USA, you have USA. But obviously, it's a bit boring if you just have USA or Spain. So I decided to work with an illustrator called Bar. He's very well known for really clever, simple, graphic illustrations. Mr. Bush there. I just want to give you a bit of context of what he normally does. So he normally works with very flat environments. Bob, some bad boys. Tom Ford. And so we did, it's a magazine, so we do try and plan things ahead when we can, but goalposts constantly change. You're always trying to make things better. So we had about 3 weeks to do this. And the idea I wanted to do was, because it's interiors, to see if Noah could take these flat images into the 3D realm. And he hadn't done that before. So what we did was, we got the interiors department. Wallpaper is split into all its different interests. So there's an interiors department, there's an architecture department, there's a travel department, fashion, all the elements to make the magazine. So talking to the interiors guys, and got Noah to come in, and he sort of just starts seeing patterns and things, and faces. I mean, he must just walk around all day going, oh, there's a face there, negative space and things like that. So obviously, that's seeing the rest of the man. But at that stage, that's French furniture, so that's not going to work for the Japanese cover using the French furniture. But it's just to see if we could do something. Little bull, luckily that is a Spanish bull. And so, just playing with things like that, and then, and it's quite nice to see how some of these then did actually, even though really initial sketches, just laying things out in the boardroom, how some of these then did make it to the final covers. That's me then doing a little mock-up of what I'm sort of thinking, to convey to Noah that we're on the same page. So basically build a set, and then paint his illustrations that then interact with the bits of furniture. So we've got people starting to paint, and then it's a bit cleaner, and then that's the sort of connection of it all coming together. So I'll just flick through a few of these things, because there's not a lot of time. They fly you like halfway around the world, and we go, got like, a couple minutes. So that's the Spain one, so you can see the very cold bull, but they're the eyes, and then there's a little man being trampled. Nice. The eagle. So it was quite tough to get sort of an iconic, sometimes slightly stereotypical, I guess, but they sort of sum up those countries. And I actually came up with the title as well, The Great Resource, so I was quite happy with that. Whites. Yeah. Belgium was a tough one. They don't really, couldn't really put a waffle on the cover. Germany, and then little scooter men. That a lot of people sometimes have a bit of trouble seeing them, but it's their eyes and the helmets and the little man behind. France. So all, they're all made with product from those countries as well, so it really sort of enhances the idea. Scandinavia, little lights and things like that, and then that's the new stuff. So 8 of these artworks, and then this is what we did on iPad. Relentless knob gags and magazines, you just have to have a bit of fun. Not relentless, but don't take yourself too seriously. But because of the success of these things, we actually made posters and prints, and it was just a nice example of, an issue that probably didn't really, warrant massive PR. It wasn't like we were collaborating with superstars and things like that, but because we just generated this own sort of content ourselves, and people really liked Noma's work. It was the first time we'd done 3D things. So we did some posters, and you could buy them online, and we signed them and stuff like that. And that worked out really well. I mean, going back to the iPad thing as well, it's really interesting working with sound. That's something I hadn't really done before. I mean, even if it's a film, it's quite easy to sort of go, well, this is the sort of phases that I want things to work, and working with video guys and film guys. But with sound, it's like, I want to go. It's really hard. I don't have a library of stuff. I mean, if you've been to the talks yesterday, people are talking about, be really sort of like organised and get libraries of stuff, so you can just go, like that, with a twist and, inspiration. My collection of 80s music isn't always the best sort of thing. But talking about music, I've been lucky enough to work with some pretty cool musician people. And this is sort of, because of the iPad, it gives you the chance to do, obviously, sound and vision. So we do these guest editor issues once a year. And they're really good fun. I mean, they're really challenging as well, because you're working with people who aren't aware of how publishing works. So, which is nice on one hand, because they don't have any boundaries. They don't go, oh, well, I'm not going to do that because it can't be done. But at the same time, it's like, I'm the one who wants to get it done. So it's a bit of a challenge. But we work with Ralph Hutter, who's the main guy from Craftwork. And he was doing this 3D exhibition stuff, quite retro 3D, and that's his head. So I didn't want to just plonk the glasses on the cover. His initial idea was that he just wanted a white, simple cover with the glasses in the middle, and because this was one of the artworks, just thought it was quite cool, and then he really liked the idea. He wanted to have a red masthead at the top, which is, really works actually. So that was nice. Everything's about collaboration. You have to sort of, and you get better results from doing that. And then also, some cool little things in. Could let that go for ages, but so that's really funny, bringing the page to life. If we had loads of time, we could have made it animated and things like that. But that was his artwork, and with his music, it's just really nice project really. On the same issue, so there's 2 guest editors. The other guy was Christian Markley, who's he was a bit of a hero of mine, to be honest, and he's like a sort of visual sound artist guy who does lots of things. And this was part of his onomatopoeia manga scroll stuff. So he basically cuts out loads of comics and gets voice artists to interpret them. And this is what they sound like. So, there's more. I mean, you know, it's mental, but I mean, I had to sit through loads of this. Well, it wasn't just one; they did like 10 for each thing. And you go, "Is it this one? This one's got a bit more, you know, throatiness on it." So that was good fun, and you know, he sort of DJs with those guys, so he'll lay out a huge scroll and people roll it, and then these guys go, well, like that, and that's how it works. So I'm not sure how successful those are, but, you know. But they're really great things, and he won a gold line at Venice Biennale, so he's pretty good, and he's got, yeah, it's called 24-hour clock, one of his pieces. Pretty awesome. He's a good guy to look at, so Christian Marco, if you don't know his work, you should have a look. And then what we wanted to do is, because he's sort of like this mixing guy, I wanted to see if we could get his cover to be mixed. So for subscribers, get into the printers and use, you know, there's loads of cool things you can do digitally, but there's also loads of cool things you can do in analog world. So took him to the printers and got to mix these covers as they're printing out. So because the sort of deck, as I'll show a little video in a minute, that sort of explains it. These are just some examples of the variation of covers that were produced, because it's all just printing out and he's just messing around with the cyan and magenta and yellow and stuff like that. It's got some of Christian's music on this film, so you know, you might want to cover your ears or something, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, so you see what I mean about the sound. So, he's like dragged the guitar across the floor. It's art, okay? He's a brilliant guy actually, and it was an absolute pleasure working with him. So, you know, it just meant that every subscriber got a unique piece of artwork, and you know, a lot of time people go, oh, how much does that cost? And I mean, that didn't cost any more than a normal cover, you know, because you're just messing with the inks that are getting printed anyway. It's just more that I had to persuade the printers to let us mess around with the inks. But, you know, it was fine. Didn't break anything, I think. We do, you know, and also, you know, so we've got like analog stuff, which is great. You know, we did a scratch and reveal for a design award, so playing with sort of really simple concepts, you know, taking the sort of lottery card idea of a scratch and reveal and adding it to a cover, and taking sort of like traditionally perhaps a bit sort of cheesy sort of trophy idea and making out nice painting and things like that. Commissioning typefaces to fit in. This one was this year, this was on mirror boards, this was shiny and stuff. So, you know, we're really pushing the print aspect of it because that's our sort of foundation. All these other things like iPad and website, they sort of, I sort of think they'd collapse if we didn't have a really core, solid foundation that is Wallpaper magazine. And this is what we did on. So that was really interesting because I actually worked with an animated guy to do the cover because I knew I wanted it to work on the iPad. So there's no, the sort of processes of sort of switching around a little bit. Sometimes we get people who do a beautiful cover and then we get someone to animate it for the iPad. But in this case it was the same person and it almost worked backwards. And then all these things were used, this sort of identity was used at the event. We did a big design awards event and it was in London this year. So that was that bit. I mentioned this because I thought this because yeah, we could, you know, send home, it's 15 years old this year. And it's not, it's only 10, but Wallpaper was 15 last year. You know, it's parties, it's a celebration. So I thought I'd bring it and I wanted to show it. It was quite fun. So also what's quite nice about the iPad editions is that they almost strengthen what we've done in print. So you get the opportunity to show almost all the hard work we've done to make the newsstand cover, because a lot of the time, you know, when you've just got one flat surface, no one sees all the other nice bits of it. So to see it from the side and see it all coming together is a really nice thing to do. We also, for that issue, I thought it'd be a really simple, nice idea just to allow our readers to choose any cover from the last 15 years. So I think it's like 150 covers. Then I realised that obviously, you know, from sort of number 1, which is in '96, people didn't keep the files. So because you didn't really have files, they all sort of sat at the Reaper house and they were just made there. So we had to sort of scan everything back in and add the bleed, and it took a couple of weekends. You know, it's worth it. So people go on and they can also mix up different covers. So you can have a mixture of cover number 5 with cover number 40. And again, you know, it's just build an online app and let people have some fun with it. It also served as a nice library just to show all the covers that we've done. And that sort of worked like that. Another guest editors issues. This is called the Director's Cut. David Lynch and Rob Wilson. Again, obviously, you know, don't need to introduce Mr. Lynch, but Rob Wilson does all these sort of quite interesting theatre things and also does these moving portraits. And so this is an example of what he does. Again, you can imagine once you sort of listen to this like 50 times, it starts getting into it. So he does these moving things, and so the challenge was how do we convey this in print? And I'd seen this treatment, and Dentsu, a Japanese, sort of one of the biggest advertising companies in the world, they've been playing around with this technique. It's a really old one. I think you'd seen Kelly's talk earlier, she's been playing around with it as well. But it's like an ombre cinema, French sort of pre-cinema sort of thing. And they're sort of really pushing it so you get really sophisticated stock frame animation going. And so I said, can we use that? And they were like, yeah, cool. So they sent the guy over from Japan, and we locked him in a room for a week. And this is what we got out of it. It was really, really nice. And it just meant, so, you know, you've got this moving thing, which is not moving, and it's just quite, this sort of like surprise is quite nice. I'll let this play, the owls are nice. Well, the dots are nicer, the owls are okay. The dots behind the owls. Didn't get any music for this one, so I guess I could talk along with it. I did have an example of this that people could come and have a look, but someone nicked it at the last thing, so well, I might have just lost it. Brad Pitt shooting a water pistol. I mean, the photographic ones are harder to sort of get completely right, but they did sort of work. And the graphic ones like this. So we just used it all throughout the issue. And so, you know, the challenges of getting that plastic to be printed correctly so that it all matches up with the lines on the printed page, that was quite a challenge. And yeah, again, we had to turn that around in sort of 3 weeks. So then, this issue is quite a good example of the magazine in all its different forms. So you've got some content, and then how do you use it, and how do you keep the readers engaged in different media. So obviously that was in the magazine. There are also QR codes, people scanning from their smartphones, and you get things like this. This is Robert Defoe. Goes on forever. Macaulay Culkin. Again, bonkers. You know, really fun. I mean, looking at this body work, it's I don't know how I'm still saying it. So, you know, we've got all that happening, and you don't just want to then put the same thing on the website. So, what we decided to do was to show the context of the artworks in the galleries. So you do a rollover. So this one was at the Ace Gallery in Los Angeles. This is in Milan. And then this one, was Ace as well maybe. But this one shows that we put the videos into the still pictures so that people online could still get the same sort of sound and movement.
Apples, peaches, pumpkin pie. Ready or not, here I come. Gee, that used to be such fun.
So much fun. And again, then so you've got Isabella Rossellini on the left, with this sort of funny music, but then you do a rollover to the guy lying down the back, and you sort of get the sound of that. So that's what we did there. Then we also tried out the first ever iPad app. The iPad had just been launched, and we thought, well, we need to get involved with this, but we didn't quite have the infrastructure in place to do a whole issue. So this was like a little tester, and it was quite nice. It was like in between actually going to the exhibition and having it in your hand. So we did this thing, and then also had to get David Lynch to do a thing because we hadn't told him when we asked him to be involved in the issue to, can you do some film stuff as well? So he was really gracious and did a special cut of the Razorhead for us. So I'll show you this in a minute. And then what happens also is, obviously, you know, we work in the real world, so we have to get sponsorship and stuff, we pay for things. We have to ultimately make some money. It's just, you know, we try and have as much fun doing it. So Tutor sponsored this, and then we see the pre-roll on it. we're sort of dabbling in all these different things, and you know, it's good fun. I mean, the challenge is to keep it. They've had enough free advertising. So you know, the challenge is to keep wallpaper identity as well, sort of consistent. So you know, if it's on an iPad, if it's on an iPhone, if it's a film. So what we've been doing recently, I wanted to put this in. This is the new issue that's just come out. It's probably on a boat somewhere on its way here. But it says because of sports and Olympics and things like that. So we changed the themes here. But we want to do something quite fun. So we did like a home exercise. So how you could use really, really nice furniture for exercising. And then what we've done is, so these are some spreads from the magazine. And then I'm going to try and go online to the website. We did a collaboration with Ridley Scott's Associates. And it's sort of like a mixture. Oh yes, one thing. Are you? Okay. Confusing. It's like a mixture of Jane Fonda's workout with American Psycho. If I was wasn't here to say American Psycho.
Good morning. This is Tom, and he's going to show you 4 great exercises for shaping your arms in the comfort of your own home. A solid and stable wooden chair is essential for safety and proper form. And Hans Wagner's China chair, first designed in 1944, could have been made with a tricep dip in mind. Place hands shoulder-width apart with fingers facing forwards. Lower your bum towards the ground and press back up. Focus on the back of the arms as you lower and press your body back to the starting position. The knee tucks exercise is Tom's favorite and could be yours. Grab onto the firm wooden armrests and tuck your knees under your elevated body. This chair comes in easy white lacquered ash or cherry wood in a range of colors, providing a safe grip. Position your sneakers and feel them grip to the smooth leather seat of the chair. Lift one leg up for maximum impact in a regular press-up motion, keeping your chin forward. The Emporio Armani EA7 vest with air duct technology, ergonomically cut to maximize freedom of movement, is ideal for this routine. Hammer curls will give that last final muscle tone for your expertly tanned skin. Grab onto the armrests and lift in a controlled motion. A well-placed three-way full-length mirror, such as the Bella Vista, designed by Carlo Morelli and Massimo Molteni, allows you to get a multi-angle appreciation of your increasing size and firmness. Always refuel after your session. See you next time.
I can see the All Blacks incorporating this into And also, they did ask if I was available, and I didn't have time. Anyway, so that's all good fun as well, you know, so you can't take yourself too seriously. Okay, here we go. So, we also, I mean, we don't do things the easy way, I have to say. I mean, we always try and push ourselves and keep it interesting for us as well as our readers. So, one of the I think it's our motoring editor, Jonathan Bell, came up with an idea for this thing called Handmade. And the idea was that not everything's made by hand, but it's just that we've had a hand in, sort, you know, influencing its process. So whether it's a chair, car, a pavilion, small chairs, I should have said that around. You know, wallpaper, baths, coffee, you name it. We wanted to get involved with it. So what we did was we, for the Salone di Mobili, which is the world's biggest furniture fair, happens annually in Milan. We commissioned, so this is an example of something that takes like 9 months, 12 months to organise. And we just got involved with all these different people and asked, Scaffini and asked an artist to collaborate with them, and we did some mustards and over 100 different projects basically. So we did a big exhibition in Milan, so it's like the sort of the real manifestation of the magazine. You can walk around it and try the coffee and eat crisps and all that sort of stuff. And then what happens is we photograph all the objects and they went into the issue, the handmade issue, so custom typography, 8 different paper stocks. A lot about the process as well that goes into making these different products. We made some bikes with Kinfolk, and they're in Portland, and then Level, who are in Japan. We made a laser boat with marine banjis. We made some cutlery, different bits and pieces, like cut-out bits, sketchbooks. So we're doing all these things, loads of collaborations, and I wanted to allow our readers to get in on the act, basically. This is my sort of initial little mood board, so a bit of Alan Fletcher, a bit of Linda Sterling, and Matt Maitland. And we wanted, using that sort of theme of handmade, getting hands-on, and I just wanted to see if we could allow people to make a cover, get it printed beautifully. Didn't want to be a photocopy and stick it on. And see what we could do. So it started. That's one of my initial sketches. It's very sophisticated, as you can see. But it just helped sort of go to the interactive company who I thought could help us make it happen. And then I approached the illustrators because we wanted to create a body of work that people could then use. Because again, sometimes limiting systems means that you get more out of it in a way. Sometimes when people just are given any sort of choices, it's very hard to know what to do. So I asked James Joyce, who's I'm a big fan of his work, some of his work here. We did some projects with Victoria and also with him. I thought Anthony Burrell would be good for the type. He comes up with these nice little sort of jargons. And this is a project that we did with him previously. So they're all illustrators or artists we've worked with previously to do covers. This is Nigel Robinson, so he's really just some nice stuff with like textures, things like that. Cam Tang, who's actually has a very wide variety of work, but what I wanted him to do was patterns. This was for athletes, I think. He used to do navigator maps in the magazine. And Hort, German company, they do a bit of everything, but I thought they'd be good for collages. Like that. There's a little quick video actually that sort of does my job for me, so I'll play that. Wallpaper are doing a handmade issue, and everything in that issue has been a collaboration between manufacturers and artists that we've got different people together that we thought would fit. But we also wanted to involve our readers, and so the way we've chosen to do that is to work with Kin Design and design a program that allows our readers to customise and design their own colours.
Trying to make a really playful tool that people who would read Wallpaper could use without necessarily just designing it for us and designing it for the artists themselves. But also coming to a rich system that gives like this really rich output of opportunities for different colours. So people can talk about it, something really interesting and adds value, etc.
So we produced 5 artists that we've previously worked with that have done covers for us. Anthony Burrell, James Joyce, Nigel Robinson, Hort, and Cam Tang. They've all contributed different elements. So each one of the different sort of elements have sort of different challenges. Obviously, the collages need to be high resonant to print, and most effective things are quite easy to scale. Counter patterns are a bit of a challenge. So readers can use all these elements as sort of a curated space. So yeah, we produced 22,000 unique covers that readers designed, and then they were printed, bound to the issue, and delivered to their door. So massive sort of logistical sort of nightmare really. But I was determined to make it work. All these things have to get sent all over the world. I'm going to go through these really quick now, because I think I'm running out of time. Just all the different assets. Bits. People could also choose their own ad on the back, so Rolex was sponsoring it. You could choose from like 9 different Rolex ads. This is how it turned up in the post, some sort of examples. And then because that didn't colour, we did it again. Yeah, cheers. And then we did a whole different app that was a bit more open, you could animate things as well, so pushing the digital side of it. So in the online gallery, all these things were animated. This is the iPad edition, so you see all the intricate stitching that goes into the seal. 5 minutes. 40 hours to stitch that, which is fun. And then there's some examples of how the pages come alive on the iPad. I mean, bizarrely, the handmade issue was our first iPad edition. Sort of makes sense because it's all hands-on, but the fact that it was a little bit of a technology versus craft. And then these are just some snippets we've just done. Milan's just been, so before I came out here, we were in Milan doing the exhibition again, so just some sort of sneak peeks. And then this is the cover that I'm working on at the minute. There's a little film. So we're probably going to do like 5 covers for this little man. And just little details on like a master made up with fingerprints. And then this is what we did for Brioni, who are really beautiful suit makers. With Learned and Sander, really fun. That's about it really. I think I've gone a bit too long, but I guess I'll see you all at the party, so you can ask me questions there. But thanks for listening.
Join me on the couch.
Here we go to the couch.
How do you rate the couch?
Very green.
Yeah. Very good for that. Do you think that there's going to be a spate of furniture-induced exercise and injuries?
I know, I'm sure there's some sort of disclaimer on there, but,
It's an interesting thing. It seems almost in a way that there's now this juxtaposition between, taking a magazine and turning it almost into television.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a big, I think if you've got a strong brand, then people want to have a piece of it on different platforms, and if you can take advantage of those platforms. I mean, ultimately, everything's becoming easier. I think that's been a theme of a lot of these talks as well, whether it's, Industrial Light and Magic, or whatever, or, Gmail. It's all these things that are getting easier to do 3D things and doing, you can do a video, like Stefano doing the videos we can talk later, doing videos on his iPhone and stuff. There's a possibility to do these things now, as long as you have a good idea. I mean, ultimately, if it's a rubbish idea, then take a look at it. But, if you can take advantage of the media to enhance stuff, then that's what we're fun.
How big is the sort of magazine growing people-wise? When you started, well, it's here, my volunteer, when you started, how many now in some of these departments? It's nice to have a department, but I guess that could be 2 people.
Yeah. I mean, the core design team on the magazine is me and 3 other people. But then there's 2 designers on the website. There's 1 designer on the iPad, but what we're doing is merging everything together, so I do layouts on the iPad and everyone else does as well, just because they didn't get that flow. But
This is surprisingly lean.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to work really hard, know your shortcuts, and also, I think if you've got a good idea, then it's pretty clear what you're doing. If you don't have a good idea, then you end up sort of messing around and wasting time. we think we've got a very clear idea of what wallpaper is and what it isn't. You know, and yeah.
And yet at the same time, what it is seems to be every issue expanding exponentially.
Yeah. that's Mr. Chambers, our editor. He just can't sit still, basically. So this is good, isn't it? Yeah, but I've got all these good things I've got to do as well. But you know, there's like 60 people in the whole office who, you know, from travel to advertising, architecture, and they're all really great people, and they all throw in stuff and come up with their own ideas as well. So it seems to work.
One of the big questions that people always ask is, you know, what is the future of print magazines, and is that going to be a way that kind of increased specialisation, being able to make these a niche within a niche?
Yeah, I think so. I think, like I was saying, I think the magazine is a very, very important foundation for us to have that authority. If we didn't have the magazine, I think then we're competing with almost millions of online blogs and all these different things, websites that don't have a sort of print presence or heritage. And you know, when we photograph all our stuff, it's all original stuff. We send writers to interview people, to find facts, to do all this stuff. It's not just borrowing loads of stuff that other people could then also have. You know, it's exclusive.
Have you read the Herald recently? You have, we would have got that. So the future is just more of the same, it's kind of just expanding out and finding new and creative ways to.
Yeah, I mean, we just, you know, also a lot of it is about trusting your collaborators. So, you know, we're working with Christian Larson and Ridley Scott associated with the Keep Fit stuff. And there's a lot of work you realise, you know, the fashion director Sebastian Cleavers was involved, and James Reed, our photo director. And, you know, we're all pitching in ideas and trying to get that sort of balance between it being humorous and not just looking like we taking ourselves too seriously, you know, and all those different things, and storyboarding it and budgets and getting a print version done. So yeah, I mean, you just let them get on with it as well. And it's been quite exciting, you know, working with sound, you know, even mental sounds that we've heard.
I did particularly like Christian's music. I thought, wow, that's going to be Fort Chalmers. Thank you. Some of this. The Belgian style music, like that, don't they? You know, there's not much that you can say for Belgium, but they buy music from Fort Chalmers, and for that they should be applauded. One person texted through and they said, why has Wallpaper survived when others have failed? And I think it's pretty self-evident from your presentation why that is.
Yeah, I mean, what we do is pretty ridiculous, really. I mean, we do fashion, we do architecture, we do all these things, we send people all these places. And, you know, we make a lot of money, but we spend a lot of money, much to our publishers. You know, they're always trying to get that margin, right? And we all sort of function in a real world. We don't have any sort of like cuts or benefits. I think in the early days we were seen as a bit of a vanity project, a bit of a sort of showpiece, but now we've got to, you know, keep our shareholders sort of happy and all that sort of stuff. So, but it means you sort of make good decisions and you're not wasteful. And, you know, having challenges and having to work within confines is actually a good thing. You know, like the custom covers thing, the fact that you can only use certain things meant that people came up with more and more different sort of executions of using those elements. You know, it's almost like if you go to Dubai and you can do anything you want, and you end up doing
usually buy a beer. So thank you. I think you know, a wonderful presentation, and I'm looking forward to my next issue arriving at some stage. Yeah. When I subscribe.
actually, that's a good point. I think we've done a little deal with Sony Birmingham, so you can, there's like a special discount for people who've been to the conference.
There you go. I didn't even know that. I've seen this. Yeah, there we go. So there is a special discount. So when they subscribe, they get the physical and the iPad version. And
you get the iPad for free. And things like the custom covers, as a subscriber, you just log in and that issue just arrives and you don't have to pay for that extra.
That is the future. Myron, Richard, thank you very much. Hi-Res was founded in 1999 by Alexandra Jurevich and Florian Schmidt. After they moved from London from their native Germany, they've since achieved some of the highest accolades available for digital